Okay, we're going to expand a plus b, the binomial a plus b, to the fifth power. So you're going to always have a bunch of coefficients. So 1, 2, 3, these are going to be our coefficients, and it's going to be 5 on the top of all of them because of the exponent. And then below it, it starts at 0 and it counts up to that number of the exponent. So 0, 1, 2, there'll be plus signs. Okay, I'll go to the next row. So we've got 5 again, plus 5 again. So this is going to be 3. This one will be 5, 4. And the last one's going to be 5, 5. Okay, these are combinations. What I just wrote, the coefficients are combinations. And we say it as 5 choose 0, or 5 choose 1, 5 choose 2. All of those are combinations. That has to do with factorials, literally an exclamation point. So we'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, the rest is the first term, a, will start off next, and that will be to the fifth power. And the b will be to the 0th every time. Remember that this is coming from right here though, where n is 5. So a to the n, first term to the n, and b to the 0. Second term to the 0 power. Or, yeah, okay. And then next we've got a to the 4th, and so the exponent of a will decrease by 1, and the exponent of b will increase by 1. So a to the 4th, b to the 1st. A is going to decrease by 1, a to the 3rd. B is going to increase by 1, b to the 2nd. Next one, it'll be a is going to decrease to 2, and b is going to increase to 3. Notice that they all add up to 5. 5 plus 0, 4 plus 1, 3 plus 0, 2 plus 3, etc. Okay, plus a is going to decrease, b is going to increase. Last one, a is going to decrease to 0, and b is going to increase to 5. Okay, another thing you need to notice is that, remember, anything to the 0 power is 1, so it's not needed. It's times 1, and we don't need this 0 power at the end. Okay, now let's work on those coefficients and what that's going to look like. The first coefficient was 5 choose 0. What that means is 5 factorial, the top number, over the difference of the two numbers, the 5 choose 0, so 5 minus 0 factorial times the second number in the combination, 0 factorial. And remember, factorial means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. The numbers are decreasing by 1 each time. And then 5 minus 0 factorial is 5 factorial again, so 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And all of these cancel, and so we end up with 1 over 1, which is 1. So anytime we have choose 0, it's going to be over itself, and it's going to equal 1. Okay, 5 choose 1. That would be 5 factorial over the difference of the 5 and the 1, so 5 minus 1 factorial. And then remember, the term is repeated, the choose 1. I didn't mean to have a fraction back here. Just threw me off looking at that. Okay, so the 5 is going here, and the 1's going there, and there, basically. Okay, so 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over, well, 5 minus 1 factorial is 4 factorial, so it's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times the other 1 factorial. And then we can just cancel everything that's the same on top. And so this is 5 over 1, which is 5. So now these are our coefficients, remember. So this, the first one that I got, I'll put it in blue, is the coefficient 5 choose 0 equaled 1. 5 choose 1 equals 5. That's the coefficient of these terms. So the first term will be 1a to the 5th. Second term will be 5a to the 4th, b to the 1st. Okay, so let's keep going with our combinations. So 5 choose 2. That's going to equal 5 factorial over 5 minus 2 factorial, which is 3 factorial, times the bottom number, 2 factorial. Okay, well that means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 all over 3 times 2 times 1 for 3 factorial, and then 2 factorial is 2 times 1. And so we can cancel out some things that are the same here. So I end up with 20 over 2, which equals 10. So remember, that's a coefficient. 5 choose 2 is right here up top, so I'm changing that to a 10 for a coefficient. So far I have 1a to the 5th, or just a to the 5th, plus 5a to the 4th, b to the 1st, plus 10a cubed b squared. Okay, the point of doing all of this, well, let me just finish first, and then I'll tell you the point of doing it. Okay, so 5, such a habit of trying to write a fraction. 5 choose 3 is 5 factorial over the difference of 5 and 3 is 2 factorial, and then repeat that number, 3 factorial, the bottom number. So then we get 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 all over 2 times 1 for the 2 factorial, and then 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, so we have 20 over 2, which equals 10. Remember, this is like Pascal's triangle, so you were building this on the board today. It was 1, 5, 10, then it would repeat 10, and I know the next one's going to be 5 and 1. But I can do it out, so I'll do it kind of small over here. So 5 choose 4 would be 5 factorial over 4 factorial, which is 4. Oops, I already messed up. Sorry. Let's not skip steps. 5 factorial over the difference of these two, 1 factorial times the bottom number factorial. So then we get 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 all over 1 factorial times 4 factorial, which is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And so you can see where the 5 came from. That I said was going to be next. And then the last one I said was going to be 1. So we'll look at that. So 5 choose 5. That's 5 factorial over 5 factorial. No, not over 5 factorial. Over the difference of 5 and 5, which is 0 factorial, 5 factorial. 5 over 5 factorial cancel. And so we just end up with 1. So we completed all of the coefficients. So now I'm going to rewrite what I had from the top. So a plus b to the 5th is going to be equal to let me see if I can cut this and bring it to the next page so it fits better. Okay, back to what we were doing. So remember that my coefficients were 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So let's see what that's going to look like. Taking from up top, this one first, I have 1a to the 5th. I don't need the 1 in front, so I just have a to the 5th, right? Next, we've got plus the second term is coming down right here. 5a to the 4th, b to the 1st. I don't need to write to the 1st. Plus 10a cubed b squared plus 10a squared b cubed plus 5a to the 1st, b to the 4th. Don't need a to the 1st. Sorry, bad habits here. Plus 1 b to the 5th. So if you actually did a plus b to the 5th, that would be a plus b times a plus b times a plus b times a plus b times a plus b. You would get the same answer. So you could start with FOIL and you would get a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Then you have to multiply that by the next one times a plus b. So now I have to distribute the a to all of these, and then the b to all of them. And if I did that, I would, starting with the a, be a to the third plus 2a squared b plus ab squared. And then distribute the b, you'd have plus a squared b plus 2ab squared plus b to the third. And now I have to take this and I have to multiply by the next a plus b. And you can imagine how long this would become if I kept doing this. And so it would end up equaling, if I did it correctly, it would end up equaling what we got when we expanded it. So that's the point of doing this.